Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How's everyone doing today?
Thank you, Hashem.
Another day to serve Hashem. Shtabach Shem Olad. I was just learning with somebody yesterday, and he's like, I told him, Azman katzar, the time is short. There's a lot of work to do. Ubal habayit dochek. And I said, the boss is pushing. You know, we gotta accomplish. We gotta work today. So he's like. Then I told him. I reminded him of the Mishnah that we learned yesterday or 2 days ago. We learned together. Hayom katzar v'amlacha meruba v'poalim atzelim. No, that was. Oh, that's today's Mishnah. That's so funny. Okay, what I just quoted is actually what we're about to learn. But I was thinking when I told him. I mentioned to him that we discussed Alshech Academy, Torah. A person should learn Torah with sincerity, and a person should know what to answer the apikoris, like we learned how to answer the apostate. And know who are you studying this Torah in front of? You're studying in front of God. So God is trusted to pay His workers. The boss of your work, He's going to pay you for what you're working. Meaning, like, if somebody works in a company and we discussed this in length, but if somebody works for a great boss, they know that that the checks are gonna clear. So I just mentioned to him when we said that we got work to do and the boss is pushing. I'm like, oh, and what kind of boss do we have? But that's actually the continuation. The continuation is today's Mishnah. Rabbi Tarfon Omer, Hayom Katzar. The days of man's life are very short. I mean, if somebody wants to achieve and utilize those days properly, there's a pasuk that says Kitzel Yamenu Kol Haaretz. It's like a fleeting shadow. It's V'amalacha meruba. There's a lot of work to do. V'poalim atzelim, and the workers are lazy. V'asachar harbe. And the reward for keeping the Torah, the mitzvah, is extremely high and rewarding. Like it says in Mishlei, Ki tova chochma mipninim, v'chol chafatzim lo yishvu ba. There's no way, I remember they used to tell us in elementary school, imagine what do you like the most, imagine your favorite ice cream, imagine your favorite pizza, whatever. Try to think, they would go around asking the kids, what do you like the most? Imagine all of that and you could have a whole life of eating pizza, and all of that doesn't answer equal to one small ability to keep the Torah, to learn or to do the mitzvahs. That's like we have to understand. There's no comparison at any worldly reward that we can envision, or any temptation, or any fleeting sort of pleasure that we could receive in this world is not even gonna come close or be in the same range as the reward for keeping the Torah and the mitzvahs. So we have a short day, meaning this life is short. There's a lot of work to do. The workers are lazy. There's great reward. Ubal habayit dochek. And the creator of the world, which is, metaphorically speaking, is the boss over here, the Baal habayit, dochek. He's telling you, learn and daven and do what you need to do. Don't waste your time. Like it says, La yamushu sefer haTorah ze mipecha v'higita po yomam v'layla. Our responsibility is not to ever stop versing in Torah, speaking, chatting in Torah, and we got to toil in it by day and by night. So really, we have a mitzvah of limud Torah every second. All the time we have to learn Torah. We just come to a place where we also living the Torah. Learning the Torah is not only studying inside, like we discussed many times. It's also being connected to learning, keeping the mitzvot, preparing for the mitzvot, doing chesed. That's all Torah. But technically speaking, we have to realize there's a great quota that we have to fill. An amazing, the creator of the world is our boss. He pays in full, and he's pushing. So what are we doing with our time? What are we doing with our days? What are we doing with our life? Are we utilizing it? Are we cashing in? Are we working hard? That's the concept of this holy Mishnah. It's pretty cool. I didn't even realize we were learning it. I started off quoting the Mishnah that we were about to learn. I guess that's just a sign that today's going to be an amazing day. B'zchut Batayin, that today's the yahrzeit in the holy city of Tzfat. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be able to feel the light of the holy tzadikim.
What's your favorite teaching from Bahrain?
I was just thinking, maybe I'm going to look for teaching. I normally let the Chassidut, I let Eliyahu do the holy avodah of Chassidut, but maybe today we'll make a little exception. Actually, didn't prepare anything, but we'll see what Hashem. In this week's parsha, it says we didn't actually do parsha yesterday, but if we would have already learned this pasuk. It says, "Vayishlach Yaakov melachim lefanav." Yaakov sent angels in front of him. El Esav achiv, to his brother Esav, to calm him down, to check if he wanted to do some sort of damage or to hurt him. Says the Holy Basai, Perush, to explain. כשרצה יעקב להיכנס לארץ ישראל, when Yaakov wanted to go into the Holy Land of Israel, היינו לבחינת קדושה יותר גדולה. What does it mean to go into Israel? It means to go to a place which has higher purity. It has higher sanctification. ונתיירא לפני היצר הרע. He was afraid in front of the evildoer, the יצר הרע. לכן שלח מלאכים. So he sent these angels. What are these angels? עצות בהנהגתו. הוא מפרש הכתוב, מה עם המלאכים? What are these angels? ארצה שעיר. מרמז שהיה בחינת ארציות. ארציות is like the physical mundane. So these angels, he sent them של בחינת שעיר, בחינת שיאור והסתפקות. ארציות is like the physical mundane. הסתפקות is like being satisfied with what you have. שתי אדום, רמז לבחינת וידום. It's like וידום is like silence. He sent it to the place of silence. היינו מיעוט שיחה, lacking amount of speech. לשון וידום אהרון, like and Aaron closed his mouth and he was silenced, he was quiet. So we see in the pasuk, we see that Yaakov sent the angels, but really the angels that he sent was he was going to the Holy Land of Israel. And in this land of Israel there's great holiness. So he sent the artziyut to a place of istapkut, to a place of being happy with what he has, and to have miut sicha, and to have a minimum amount of speech, not to have excess speech, in order to receive the holiness of the land of Israel. Zchutu tagen aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Also, the Holy Batayin says, "Vayishlach Yaakov malachim lefanav." The pasuk says, and Yaakov sent angels in front of him. The first letter of the words is vayamol, and it's like the word when you circumcise. It's called vayamol. To circumcise, Rashet Tevot vayamol, b'chinat lamul et arlat alev, to cut off the
circumcise the heart.
Yeah, to circumcise the heart. Thank you. She'alev naki mikol, the heart should be clean. Bilti la Hashem la'avado, only to Hashem. Yeh ratzon shenizkeh lezeh, we should be zoche to attain this. Ken yeh ratzon, amen. That's what he heard from the Aptarov. That Vayishlach Yaakov malachim lefanav, he was circumcising his heart. So we should all be zoche in the zchut of the Holy Batayin to circumcise our hearts and to realize that coming to Israel is a great opportunity, and in Israel is great holiness. And when we come here, we have to prepare our hearts. We have to prepare our the way that we talk. We have to prepare the way that we, how connected we are to artziyut. We want to get out of the artziyut to come to a higher spiritual place, to get out of the mundane physical, and to get into the spiritual in order to receive the kedusha. Hashem yizakeh otanu. Okay, where do we go now? What's the next holy limud that we could learn today? So before we get into the new exciting light of Chanukah, B'ezrat Hashem, that we're preparing for every single day in the Chodesh Kislev, we don't want to just jump into Chanukah, We want to prepare a little bit to receive the Or Ganuz, the hidden light. So every day we're taking one step closer to jump in there. Continuing in the Holy Rambam, we spoke about one that distances himself from the ways of the congregation, and we spoke about one that unfortunately causes others to sin. Now we're talking about a snitch. Shnayim him hamosrim. There's two different kinds of snitches. Hamoser chavero biyad oved kochavim. Lo One kind of snitch is somebody that, God forbid, snitches on his friend to idol worshippers in order to get them killed. There were certain scenarios where if a Jew, let's say, would keep the Torah, he would be punished in Spain, for example, or other scenarios in Jewish history. And if somebody snitches and he causes this person to be dead, so to be killed, he's considered a moser. Or la koto, or to hit his, or he just snitches on him and he's going to get beaten. He's going to get beaten by the government or by these idol worshippers. That's one kind of snitch. Where somebody causes his friend's money to be given to these idol worshippers or these government officials, whatever. Or biyad anas, meaning either in the hand of these idol worshippers, or in the hand of some sort of Jewish stealer who takes money incorrectly, some sort of mafia, that extracts unjustified money that he doesn't actually owe, and by your snitching or telling something, you're causing him to take money from somebody and make him lose money, not justifiably. Shehu ke'oved kochavim, he's like a idol worshipper. This Jew who is like a mafioneer and he's extracting money unjustifiably, he himself is unfortunately like an idol worshipper, because this is not really the holy path of the Jews. Ushnehem enem chelek le'olam haba. These two people, these two kinds of mosrim, these two kinds of snitches, they both do not have a portion in the world to come. Whether it's somebody who causes somebody to be killed or hurt to idol worshippers, or somebody causes one's money to be taken away by idol worshippers, or even by a Jew who's unjustifiably extracting Jewish money. Both of these consequences would cause somebody to lose his portion in the world to come. There's another one over here. I would love to get through these already because I want to get to all the positive things about tshuva. We got to know these. We got to know these little aspects inside of our nefesh, and to make sure we could eradicate even little signs of snitching, or little signs. Sometimes we could just not be careful when we say over something, and because we say over something, we can cause damage to somebody else. We could also have just sensitivity towards what could be the outcome of our words? Could we cause somebody, God forbid, we're not having somebody killed or beat up, but how can we make sure first of all, not to cause somebody to have a loss of life, or to have physical pain, or God forbid to have financial pain. The Rambam doesn't mention, but obviously also we don't want to cause somebody to have emotional pain. We can sometimes tell somebody something and cause that other person to have emotional pain. That will hurt that person. There's another one over here on Halacha Yud Gimel. The Rambam says, "Matile ema latzibur shelo l'shem shamayim." If somebody causes the congregation to have a lot of fear, and he's not doing it for the sake of God, ze harodeh tzibur b'chazaka. Good morning. These are tax collectors. Go ahead and they put real fear on the congregation, not for the sake of God. They're going to lose their portion in the world to come. And he's being mishabed tzibur against their will, forcing them to do his will. And because they're afraid of him, of this tax collector, and they know he's going to hurt them or he's going to cause them damage, he's doing this just to rule over them, to get his own will, but he doesn't actually care. It's not like he's doing his job, okay, he has to collect taxes justifiably. He's doing some sort of crooked agenda over here, and he's able to make it happen because he's powerful or strong or scary. He's not doing it for heaven. Like the king of Gentiles, they just it's all about their own personal strength. It's all about how strong they are, and for their own kavod. It's not for the kavod of Hashem. A Jewish king, everything that he does is for the sake of Hashem. And when we continue learning the Holy Rambam, we'll talk about each one of these 24, how they, even though they don't have a portion of the world to come, we're going to elaborate a little bit more in the next chapter, Be'ezrat Hashem. Hashem Yizakeh Otanu, we should be able to eradicate anything that has to do with snitching or with putting fear on others, not for the sake of God, in order to constantly do things in a straight, proper, honest, smooth way, to find favor in the eyes of the Creator and favor in the eyes of humans. Be'ezrat Hashem. That's the Holy Rambam. We'll start a little bit of Chod Chanukah. תקנו חכמים להדליק נרות בשמונה ימי חנוכה. The Chachamim, the great sages, they enacted that one should light 8 flames during the days of Hanukkah. שהם ימי הודאה והלל, they're days of gratitude and praise. הניצחונם של החשמונאים נגד הגויים. On the success of the Chashmonaim, the army of the Chashmonaim, against the Romans. ובימים אלו חנכו ותיארו מחדש את בית המקדש, they purified the בית המקדש, וכיוון שתיאמו היוונים את כל השמנים, and since the Romans made all the oils impure, לא היה בידם שמן טהור הכשר להדליק המנורה. They didn't have in their hands pure oil in order to light the menorah in the Beis HaMikdash. The Beis HaMikdash always had a menorah. They couldn't light it. ובדרך נץ, through a way of miracles, נמצא פח שמן קטן. There was a small flask. חתום, it was sealed. בחותמו של כהן גדול, the high priest. המספיק להדליקה ליום אחד. It was enough to last for one day, this flask. ונעשה נס, and there was a miracle happened, ודלק 8 ימים. The amount which should have lasted for one day lasted for 8 days. גם הנשים חייבות במצווה סוד. So too the women are chayav in this mitzvah. אף שזו מצוות, עשה שהזמן גרמה, even though this has a specific time and women don't have a responsibility to do things that have a specific time, ובדרך כלל נשים פטורות ממצוות עשה שהזמן גרמה. כיוון שגם האנשים היו שותפות בנס, since the women also were part of this miracle, אף הן חייבות במצוות, they also have the responsibility to keep the mitzvah of Hanukkah. פרסום הנס, כל דיני המקום והזמן שקבעו חכמים, all the part of Hanukkah is the פרסום הנס, is to advertise the great miracle that happened. The kol dinei hamakom, all the laws that we're going to learn about the place where we light the menorah and the time when we light the menorah. B'inyanei adlakat ner Chanukah, the purpose of them is kedei lefarsem et hanes. We want to advertise the miracle that God did for us. Lefikach tiknu leadlik et hanerot liad hapetach. Therefore, it was enacted that one should light the Chanukah neros next to the door, or hachalon, or the window, haponeh bereshut harabim, where there's a public place. כדי שהעוברים ברחוב יראו את הנרות, those that are passing through in the street will see the flames. כמו כן, תקנו להדליק את הנרות, so too, the חכמים, they enacted us to light the נרות, משתשקע החמה, once the sun goes down. שאז הרחובות עדיין מלאים באנשים שחוזרים מעבודתם. When the sun goes down, as people are still coming home from work, אולם אין הפרסום לרבים מעכב את המצווה. Even though that's the reason why we do it, it's not מעכב את המצווה. Even if somebody won't see it, we still will do it. לכן גם יהודי שגר לבדו במקום שומם, if somebody lives on the top of a mountain and there's no one around, חייב בהדלקת נר חנוכה, he has to remember the nis himself. So there's 2 points here. First of all, we have to realize that we receive miracles, and also we want to advertise those miracles. So ideally speaking, we do it to spread it. We do it at times when people could see. But even if somebody doesn't see, what about you? You have to remember. מצוות הדלקת נרות חנוכה חביבה וחשובה ביותר. The holy mitzvah of lighting Hanukkah candles is very loved and important. לפיכך קבעו חכמים שאפילו אני שאין לו אפשרות לקנות נרות. There's an amazing halacha. A very poor person who doesn't have enough money to buy candles, צריך לחזר על הפתחים או למכור את כסותו כדי לקנות נרות חנוכה. He has to go collect money, become a beggar, and knock from door to door, and even to sell his own clothing, his own robe, his own coat, in order to buy candles, Hanukkah candles. ואף שלקיום מצוות אחרות אין חובה על האדם לחזור לפתחים או למכור את כסותו כיוון שיש במצווה. Even though in general, if somebody can't do a mitzvah, we don't make them go collect money or sell their clothing. They don't have the money to do it. They don't have to do it. But since כאן שיש מצווה פרסום הנס, since it's important to advertise the holy miracle, החיוב גדול יותר, it's even a greater, that's such a great It's such a great mitzvah that Chazal wants us to go ahead and even go and collect money to make sure that it happens, to go beyond our capacity and ability.
But what about saving one's life? Like to sell your coat in the middle of winter.
I don't think it would be if it's going to come to a place of pikuach nefesh.
Okay.
If it's going to come, we're not going to say, because it says v'chai b'im. Hashem wants to do the mitzvahs and live with them. We're not talking about a case where somebody's going to, God forbid, die, because then how is he going to, like the Chanukah handle? He's not going to, but I think what it would mean is, let's say, for example, somebody has a regular garment, and then he has an overcoat, and that, let's say, has a fur overcoat. He would still sell his fur overcoat, and that would be enough, and he could still survive. And it's important to know. You're asking a good question. How far does this go? Is somebody supposed to just leave an undershirt? And you know what I'm saying? It could be that Chazal would not hold you accountable to that extent. But the concept, even to the concept, Chazal would not need you to sell your overcoat normally to keep a mitzvah. If you don't have the ability, so then you can't. Or you could do it with somebody else. Here, they want so much to spread this holy miracle. Here, so it says, but the poor person that doesn't have enough money, he doesn't need enough money to buy oil and to do all 8. He could just do 1, because we're going to learn by the letter of the law, just 1 candle is enough. So he can do the minimum, just to make sure that he's able to spread the holy light. One more, we're gonna end here. Asiyat melacha. When somebody does work, it's forbidden for a woman to do work at the time when the Hanukkah candles are lit. There are women that didn't work at all during all the days of Hanukkah. Specifically in the first day and the 8th day. But the practice is that actually when the candles are lit, and it doesn't actually mean the whole time, the way that we paskin is to do just the first half an hour, because that's the main time of the mitzvah. So just in the first half an hour, that's the time when a woman shouldn't work, and we'll discuss what that means. Could she make donuts or not? It's very important. We got to know. Sfinjim, donuts, uganiot, hamen tashet. No, I'm joking. I got confused. And the practice is to avoid things that we do during Chol Moed, meaning they shouldn't do laundry or sewing things. Welcome. Whoa, Jack. Nice to see you, brother. Welcome. Amazing. What a surprise. Kibus, like doing the kinds of things that they would be forbidden to do when the candles are lit is laundry, sewing. But here he says, cooking and frying is mutar, which is very important. How can we have Hanukkah without sufganiyot in the first half an hour? Right when we finish doing kavanot by the menorah, we got to eat a big oily donut. I mean, if not, what are we going to do? We're going to have to wait. So they can make the donuts, just not real work, not washing or cleaning, but to cook. That's something that they can do. I've seen in places where they don't, but here we see very clearly, and I heard yesterday also from a big chacham, that we are able to study at that time and to do Bezat Hashem Yizakeh Otanu, that through learning the halachot and knowing the practices for Chanukah, through that we'll be able to receive a vessel, we'll have a kli in order to receive the amazing light of Chanukah. Bezat Hashem, Abba Alenu Letova, that should come on us, Val Kol Yisrael Amen, and on the whole Jewish nation. Bezat Hashem, now we're going to do a little bit Rabbi Nachman. Aaron, you ready for some Rabbi Nachman? We all love Rabbi Nachman. Oh wow, look at this one. ראוי להזדרז להתפלל תמיד בבוקר השכם בכל מה שיוכל. It's appropriate to be very hasty, to pray always in the morning, the closest to the morning when you wake up, when you can. כי לפי גודל מעלת התפילה שיקרא מעלתה, כי לפי גודל מעלת התפילה שיקרא מעלתה מאוד מאוד, because according to the level of the prayer which he has, which has a very high level, מי יודע אם יזכה אחר כך להתפלל, you don't know what's going to happen afterwards. על כן כל מה שיוכל להקדים עצמו, the first thing he should do is he should hasten himself as quick as he can to pray as quick as possible. ראוי לו לזרז מאוד ולהקדים. And it's appropriate We can see from Rabbi Nachman's words, you see it's not always possible. That's why it says ra'ui. He's not telling you need to. He's saying try to. But it's actually a very, very, very important concept to litbonen, to think into. We don't really know. Rabbi Nachman says in other places that what happened before is not important and what's going to happen later is not important. What's most important is what's happening right now. But this is like a key for how to think about life and how to serve God. Because Rabbi Nachman is teaching us is a tremendous fundamental to understand. Right now I woke up, right now I have the ability to pray, and praying is so important and it has such an importance in my life. I don't know what's going to be in 10 minutes. I don't know what could happen in the world. I don't know what kind of emergency could come up. I don't know if I'm going to have a stomach ache. I don't know if I'm going to have to run the kids to school. I don't know if I'm going to have to run to go on a date. Who knows? There's a million things that could come up. And all these things might be super, super, super important. So what do I know right now? I know that importance of tefillah is super important and I got to do it as quick as I can. And when I'm thinking that, then I'm always putting a fast forward in my mind to constantly hasten my service to God. Zrizut. Zrizim makdimim lemitzvot. Quicker to try to do more mitzvot with a zrizut. To have a hasty way of doing things. I also think a practical etzah, practical advice and method that could be for somebody to do this is also to create a situation which causes a person to hasten himself. Like everybody's different. Some people know that having a study partner after praying, that means they're going to show up early because if they know that they could daven any time when they show up to shul, so then, okay, there's a 7 o'clock minyan and there's a 11:30 minyan. So we're not talking about now Zman Tefillah. There's specific times when one needs